The question becomes, right, what are the main hurdles, right? How do we get from, where we are today in the B2B world to where our expectations want to take us? I mean, what do you see as the main hurdles to get there?
Well, I think it's just really, I don't know, it's a lot of hurdles. Maybe it's definitely overcoming the legacy type of practices. We know what's worked, and there is a perceived risk or chance of stepping out of what you've done to stepping into being confident that that's going to be better. So I think a lot of the hurdles are more self-imposed than anything else. Where I do see from a positive perspective, a lot of companies, us included, in companies like ours, are stepping into these modern customer experiences through the products, making the applications mobile friendly, for example, putting modern user interfaces into the product that are far more intuitive, far more easy to consume the relevant information out of the screens and the applications, as opposed to applications that are big, heavy spreadsheet-oriented look and feels. Ones that don't require multiple page user guides to get started within them, and letting the interface be so intuitive and simple to where a person can get around pretty decently without a ton of heavy training or manuals in order to extract the value out of the application. So that's where I think I've seen a lot of progress made, not only here at Elemica, but across our peers in our space. But one of the things from a marketing perspective that I'd call out there is to say, don't confuse a user interface or a product enhancement or making something go mobile as saying then that's the exceptional customer experience that the modern buyer is expecting, because I think the definition of that high quality customer experience extends way beyond the look and feel of a product or an application or how somebody engages with the technology. And so the example I use is I'm a convertible guy. It's what I drive. I live in Atlanta. We get to use it, and I'm bragging here a little bit. We get to use our convertible almost 12 months out of the year. And so it's a good climate to have the car. In the business-to-business world, relating back to that user interface example, I think a lot of thoughts going into how the top retracts into the trunk, for example. Where are the buttons? How quickly does that top go down? How does that work and sound relative to how it orchestrates with the rest of the vehicle? But what's been, I think, a bit forgotten in this conversation with regard to that B2B buying experience is the fact that I'm not necessarily buying a particular convertible or a convertible in general because one top goes down in 7 seconds versus the other goes down in 5. Or one vehicle has a better placement for that button compared to another. I'm buying the convertible because I enjoy the wind through what's left of my hair, and I like the sunshine, and I like the sound, and just the whole vibe you get into when you're on a great 2-lane Georgia country highway and you're going 50 miles an hour, and there's a few light curves, and you're behind that wheel, and you're in control, and it's just an awesome experience to do that, at least for me. And it's really not about the fact that my top went down 2 seconds quicker than somebody else's, or the fact that they misplaced the button or the lever in order to make the top go down. And so I think the other hurdle to the conversation, in addition to the status quo, to wrap up this answer, is really about putting self-constrained limits or perceptions on what customer experience is. And the conversations have started really healthily around the products and around the applications and what that means and the interfaces, but that is not representative of 100% of the customer experience. I think the customer experience at the end of the day touches not only on that, but the lack of friction in the process, how smoothly the interactions are, what's the full ecosystem like, in the supply chain operating network, and what does that mean for my company's economic prosperity, and what does that mean for the general health of the larger ecosystem that's on the business network. And certainly from a professional development standpoint, I think people like being heroes within their roles. So if they can become a supply chain hero, and we've helped enabled their position within their respective companies as a result of how we've been able to deliver value to that person within their role and helping them out, I think that's also equally part of that customer experience. That's not necessarily something that you can translate through product features, functions, and benefits.